Good evening, and thank you so very much for being here with us tonight. Not only do we appreciate you exercising safety and caution for those around you by having your face covering on, while also socially distancing from other guests outside of your family, we appreciate you giving up your time to meet with us in the middle of the week. For those who I've not had the pleasure to meet, or those who forgot what I look like after the last year of living our educational lives online, my name is Jeffrey McNicken, and I'm the AVID Site Coordinator and elected teacher here at Ridgeview High School. I have the distinct privilege to formally and officially welcome you to our inaugural boarding ceremony in partnership with the University of South Carolina Sumter for Richland School District 2's first graduating class of early college students. I wrote pause for applause here, so maybe you can help out. Before we begin our program, I would be remiss not to make it a point to introduce some of our esteemed guests who are also here with us this evening. I ask that you please stand and remain standing when I call your name. Miss Paige Fennell, Student Activities Director at Ridgeview High School. Dr. Brenda Matt Foxworth, Principal at Ridgeview High School. Mr. Brandon Ross, Assistant Principal at Ridgeview High School. Mary Paige Boyce, Director of College and Career Initiatives. Our wonderful AVID tutors, Miss Amaya Banks, Miss Kaylin Cooper, Miss Lakeisha Eaglehart, Miss Olivia Gore, and Miss Haylin Nicholas. Our family at U of SC Sumter, Mrs. Laura Richardson, Director of Educational Partnerships. Ms. Hannah Barrett, Administrative Coordinator for Dual Enrollment, Early College and Continuing Education. Ms. Alethea Hummel, Director of Marketing and Public Relations. Dr. Ray McManus, Professor of English, Director of Faculty, Curricula, and Courses for Dual Enrollment Programs in Lexington and Richland County. Dr. Eric Reisenauer, Professor of History, Executive Associate Dean for Academic and Student Affairs. Our Richland 2 School Board members, the Honorable Lindsay Agostini, the Honorable Cheryl Caution Parker, the Honorable Monica E. Scott, the Honorable Teresa Holmes, the Honorable James Manning, the Honorable LaShonda McFadden, Dr. Sabrina Suber, Executive Director of Secondary Schools, and Dr. Baron Davis, Superintendent of Schools in Richland 2. I also ask that if you have supported an early college graduate over these last 4 years, please stand. I may now proudly welcome our AVID early college graduates. Graduates, as I stand here proudly before you this evening, I can't help but at first see the faces of the very young students who used to scream at each other about what was the best cereal, the best candy, the best chips, who was the best rapper, and just other absolute ridiculousness in the 9th grade. I also see the faces of each of you from the first interview that you sat in to enter this program. While I find joy in this, I know that those faces are long gone. Instead, I see the faces of students more sure of themselves, of their abilities, and of their next steps more than likely than any other student graduating from high school this year. I see young adults ready to enter a world of uncertainty but protected with the promise of possibility. I'll admit, there were times when I lost myself on this journey, but like you, I've had a lot of time to reflect in this last year to realize how much I've been able to grow in large part thanks to you. For that, please know that I'm forever grateful and that the path for other students hereafter will now be easier because of you. What I hope that you take away from me this evening is that you don't lose yourself or your passions. Too many of us have lost too much too young to already, from cheerleading to soccer to volleyball to color guard to wrestling, to time for drawing, designing, and making music, to part-time jobs, to summer breaks, to prom, even to family members and bonds with those once close to you. I ask that you please find all of that again this next year. There are some semesters and even some school years entirely where we might have spent just a little too much time together. There were times that I could be a bit overbearing, but I don't look back on it with regret. The reason for that is because we started with 20 of you, and 20 of you are still here, graduating from the University of South Carolina with associate's degrees on May 5th. The 20 of you have each saved $25,376, thus totaling your entire cohort to an overall tuition savings of $507,520. As college acceptances and letters continue to roll in, there's no doubt in my mind that your scholarship earnings will be 3 or 4 times that. Well, I can stand here and go on and on about the good times that we had, the amazing things that you each have conquered. There are several other people that I feel like you should hear that from instead of me. I know that you and probably some of your parents and guardians have already heard enough from me over these last 4 years. P.S. Sorry for all the emails. Just please be reminded that I love each of you dearly. I'm so proud of all that you've done, and I can't wait to see what you do next. I now welcome to the podium Dr. Brenda Mack Foxworth with a special message and address just to all of you.
Good evening, Dr. Davis, Richland District 2 school board members, and other distinguished guests. The Richland 2 AVID Early College is housed exclusively at Ridgeview High School. It is open to students who are willing to become a part of the AVID program and take it for 4 years of high school. This opportunity is offered in partnership with the University of South Carolina at Sumter. And students have the potential to graduate from high school to start college as a second semester sophomore or a first semester junior. This is accomplished by having students to take high school courses as freshmen and sophomores, and their dual credit college courses during their junior and senior year. By design, this program is rigorous and it's fast-paced. However, when you incorporate a compassionate director equip the students with AVID strategies, career planning, and academic coaching, the sky becomes the limit. Students, thank you for your courage. Your dedication and commitment to this program has provided a rock-solid foundation for future cohorts. You are to be commended. When you receive your cord, know that it is a tangible symbol that represents the sacrifices you have made along the way in order to achieve success today. Your village, your parents, your school board members, your school administrators, your teachers, your directors, your entire village is so proud of you. Congratulations. At this time, please welcome Dr. McManus to the podium.
Greetings, administrators, staff, distinguished guests, parents and families, and of course the class of 2021. It is an honor to be with you today, to celebrate a milestone of achievement and to be a part of the courting ceremony for associate degree conferred by USC Sumter in the early college program in Ridgeview High School. You are the first graduating class of this program. We're extremely excited about that. Typically, in a ceremony like this, it is customary for someone, in this case me, to present you with a challenge moving forward. And typically, a challenge is needed to inspire or motivate a party or parties to overcome adversity to meet some future goal. However, I would be hard-pressed to issue such a challenge to you all. Given the fact that most, or at least some, high school students this past year would most likely prefer to simplify at least their final year in high school, and why not, given that you worked hard for 10, 11 years. And given the fact that this year has presented enormous challenges to everything we once held as normal. Not to mention the fact that you took all the extra challenge to stay the course despite all of this, to graduate with not only a high school diploma, but also an associate's degree. I think you have already met and conquered more challenges than most in your position. I know I speak for Mr. McNicken, administration at Ridgeview High School, and Richland School District 2, Dr. Reisenauer, Ms. Richardson, and Ms. Barrett, when I say, you are awesome. You have overcome immense adversity. You stayed the course, didn't waver, didn't flinch when the going got tough, and then the going got tougher, and then the going got tougher after that. So my challenge, if there has to be one to you, is this. Remember, when you find yourself on a college campus sweating out the requirements, and you will, sweating out those requirements that it takes to further your college education, remember what you did to get there. Later in life, when the struggles of living will seem to push you down, and you're having to prioritize your needs from your wants, remember how your perseverance and determination allowed you to accomplish what looked almost impossible. And when you've had those quiet moments, and they will come, when you are perhaps questioning whether or not you did all you could do to earn the place that you are in, remember, yes, you did. Remember that, so you still can. Remember that, so you still will. On behalf of USC Sumter, Ridgeview High School, Richland School District 2, congratulations to the class of 2021. Enjoy this moment. Celebrate your accomplishment. And then get to work. Thank you.
Good evening. Again, my name is Dr. Eric Reisenauer. I'm Executive Associate Dean for Academic Student Affairs. It's my very great pleasure tonight to read out each one of your names and allow you to come and enjoy the accolades that you so clearly deserve. Nathaniel D. Blair. Arrington A. Booker. Yasmin B. Friday. Jalen M. Gammon. Mari T. Gore. Preston S.R. Hutchinson. Princess O. James. Jemiah O. Johnson. Anaya M. Long. Justin M. Loudabout. Benjamin A. Maker. Davin T. Moses. David J. Person. Jonathan T. Person. Bailey O. Scott. Isaiah A. Thompson. Andrew M. Toffler. Shantae L. Williams. Everyone, please join me in giving all these graduates a hearty round of applause.
Let's give them one more round of applause. I want us for a minute to examine the mission of our school district, and I'm speaking to both the audience and to our graduates. I want us to examine the mission of our school district just for a minute, because I think oftentimes we get lost in the work and we don't really pay attention to what is really driving the work. What really drives our work, what really drives an organization, or anything is a mission. It's the drumbeat, it's the heartbeat of any organization. And our mission is really important to us because it is the thing that helps us make the appropriate decisions for our community, but more importantly, the most appropriate decisions for you, our students, the most precious and valuable resource that we have here in our school district. And our mission statement is very simple. It's in partnership, to work in partnership with our community to do some very simple things. It is to develop the global citizens of tomorrow. Citizens who are prepared to lead and excel in their chosen pathways. It is not for us to determine what their pathway is, but it is simply for us to try to create pathways that students have the ability to choose from that will benefit them in their lives how they see fit. It's important to remember that this isn't done simply in isolation. None of this was happenstance. It took a lot of planning and it took a lot of support and it took a lot of buy-in from our parents to trust this new pathway that we were creating in Richland 2. We never had an AVID early college or early college program. We are trying to convince parents and students to trust us in this rigorous program that we wanted to create that will allow our students to get a 2-year college degree while also getting their high school diploma, putting them on a pathway toward graduation and prosperity. Because one thing you would surely have accomplished is, if you stay local or you stay in a state-supported educational system of higher ed, you reduce your debt tremendously. And I think that deserves a round of applause. Several years ago in 2015, I had an opportunity. She's sitting all the way in the back, but I wanted to really point her out. This is Mary Page Boyce. Mary Page and I had a conversation about AVID and about early college. And if you know her, she's very passionate about AVID. And I wanted the district to put the district in a position to have an early college program. And I wanted to do this solely so that we can provide you with an opportunity so that you can go to college without necessarily incurring all the debt. So in 2015, we started having all these conversations and ran into a whole bunch of roadblocks. There are a whole bunch of obstacles and roadblocks in the pathway of why we couldn't do this. People doubted whether or not the program was going to be rigorous enough. And then when we looked at the rigor, people began to doubt whether or not the students who were going to do it were going to be able to sustain that rigor for such an extended period of time. But she had confidence, I had confidence, our board had confidence in you all, and so we put this in place. And by 2017, we were able to find a partner. And we appreciate USC Sumter for engaging with us and having this very important conversation and putting this in very important work so that we can provide this opportunity to our students. Because for you students, it's all about creating opportunities for you to take advantage of it. So we thank you all for engaging in this partnership with us and supporting us in this effort to give our students this outstanding opportunity. We then turned and offered this. So we went out and we asked the question of our school administrators, like, hey, who wants to take on this opportunity? You talk to principals, like, there's one more thing, I don't know about that. Well, there was one principal that obviously saw the vision long before others, and that's Dr. Brenda McFox, where she jumped right up. And I said, Brenda, you already got enough programs going on over at AVID, you couldn't possibly sustain another program. But she and Ms. Boyce said, no, we have the perfect person who can take this project on. And before he knew it, they already had Mr. Nichols signed up. Ms. Nancy Breaker, who is our chief academic officer, or our chief of teaching and learning, because she had to provide the necessary support in order to make sure this happens. So thank you, Ms. Breaker, for all that you support our students as well. And again, parents, I can't iterate enough for thanking you for trusting us. Like, we can't ever take it for granted that you don't have opportunities and options to educate your children pretty much anywhere that you would like to, but you choose consciously to make it consciously to give us an opportunity to educate your children, your child, to provide them with educational experiences. And we were asking you to trust us in something. We were asking you not to necessarily enroll your students in an AP course, but not to necessarily enroll your students in this course, and not, or hey, give us the summer. We need your sons and daughters for the summer in order to provide them. And you had to really think about that, because that was new to us. But you chose to trust, you chose, you gave us the opportunity, and we are grateful for it, because as a result, we have 20 wonderful graduates. And last but not least, before I just say a few remarks to our graduates, I do want to take the opportunity to also thank 7 very important individuals in our school district. And again, that's our board of trustees, our school board members, because oftentimes you don't see the behind the scenes that it takes to make something like this really successful, because they have to approve and give us the green light for the funding to make this appropriate, to give us not only the funding, but more importantly, the funding is the trust that they have to give us and allow us to do this. So I want to thank our chairman, Mr. Manning. I want to thank our vice chair, Dr. Teresa Holmes. homes. I want to thank our secretary, Dr. Caution Parker. I want to thank one of our long-serving board members, Dr. Monica Scott. I want to thank Ms. Agostini. And I also want to thank one of our very new board members, Ms. McFadden. And in her absence, I want to thank Ms. Mackey for the opportunity that they've afforded this school district to do something innovative in this nature. And they deserve a round of applause. So thank you so much. I simply want to say this to you all. You all are game changers. There's a psychologist that lived, his name was Viktor Frankl. And he's one of my favorite people to quote because Viktor Frankl was an existentialist psychologist. And in existential psychology, he believed in this approach of the here and now, focusing on right now, in preparation for the future. Frankl once said something in a TED Talk that was recorded many, many years ago before there was a TED Talk. That went back and found this old lecture that has stuck with me ever since I was an undergraduate. And I wanted to share that simply with you. He said that we do man a disservice when we see him for who he is and not for who he is capable of becoming. And so we have to set the mark. When we work with young people, we have to set the mark for how we envision them in the future. And you can tell how people see and value you based on how they treat you, not for who you are today, but who you're going to be tomorrow. So I ask you to take that with you. Always remember the importance of seeing yourself far greater than who you currently are. What have you accomplished? You are the first group of students in the history. There's almost 100 years of history in Richland School District 2. No one has ever graduated from this district with both their associate's degree and their high school diploma in the history of the district. You took on the challenge because you saw yourself for who you can be. You could have done the traditional route. You could have kept your summers. You could have had the job. You didn't have to come to the library in the summertime to work with Mr. McVickers. You didn't have to put in the extra hours. You could have stopped if you hit a roadblock and you couldn't get, your grades wasn't quite where you wanted to be, or they said you needed to continue to work in order to meet the requirements to get into the program or stay into the program. You could have given up, but you saw yourself for greater than who you were. You stuck with it. You worked it out. You figured it out. You excelled. You overcame the adversity. Anything and challenge that came your way, you accomplished that with flying colors. You are indeed premier. And because of your commitment to your education, you stand now in history as the first group of students to ever accomplish it. I'm almost emotional about it because when you plant a seed, you trust and have faith that that seed's going to grow. If you provide the proper nourishment and the proper watering, the proper cultivating, you have trust that that seed's going to grow. And we plant this seed and look at this tree. Look at these trees full of purpose that will bear fruit for a lifetime so others can eat as well. So keep planting trees, keep believing in yourselves, and thank you all for your commitment to our school district and to your education. I love y'all. Y'all be good.